like the Akali, right?
Yeah, I think Akali needs to be taken away.
I'd rather them ban the Udyr. They're going to ban the Kalista.
Oh, interesting.
I find that strange, but...
I mean, Henna did play back-to-back games of it against Sandbox and won both. Certainly demonstrating to us why the Kalista is strong currently. But there is the first pick Akali that we were talking about. Second one for the LCK. People are catching on. And Lava was able to get so many Pog points with this champion.
The Kalista ban, like you said, I should mention it, 4 out of 5 of his games prior to today he played it, so
yeah.
And it's not a shocker by any means, but I don't think it's a strong ban compared to the Akali. And like if you're thinking about players you're scared of and champions you're scared of, you don't think of Henna's Kalista as being this terrifying one, but they took away the Karma. Dive style composition here from Fred at Brion, and we've seen this a ton here in the LCK. Like this is the most common style to take on blue side. T1 already have one answer to this in the Twisted Fate. I think they'll probably ban away the Leona because Solar Flare works so well with this. And Jace coming through here kind of implies you might pick up the Nara in the second phase, but they could have banned it instead. I'm not a huge fan of this kind of blind Jace this early on.
It's a lot of poke damage and a lot of side lane.
Here's the Udyr pick. You know, not used the way or not drafted as high priority as I thought, but ends up picking it here. It's gonna be great for controlling a lot of that vision. It's gonna have a lot of early game power. Braum here with the Varus, a strong pick. Not gonna see any Nunu, so don't get excited.
Keria having a bit of fun right now as we've got a bit of a Freljordian ending, potentially, as 8 seconds on the clock for Keria to make his decision. Nidalee is an interesting one, pairs very well with Twisted Fate. Does mean that T1's composition this time around is geared. This is in goes Faker, the Destiny goes down, the answer is there in the Paranoia, and now Lava's going to pull the trigger. Keria still in a bit of trouble as Hoya's going to turn it around with the perfect execution. Is it going to be answered as the smite comes through just in the nick of time, and that is going to bait Cuz just enough. Fred at Brion 2-0. And this is like a minute and a half before the Herald's even alive.
Yeah, right before the Herald spawns, you know, a skirmish that T1 didn't necessarily need to take on this side of the map. I was a little bit puzzled as to why Fred at Brion would group up here instead of trying to rush out that Drake, but they end up getting a very nice fight. They see that T1 have rotated up, they know that Keria is here, and they're like, okay, well, if you think you can win this fight because you think you have the numbers advantage, you're not actually correct. We have long range engage. hits the stun, is able to get the first blood, has that smite, as you mentioned, perfectly timed here just to get away at the last second. And T1 are grouped up here, they commit the teleport, Destiny Gate comes back through here for Faker, and it's just so easy to long range back into this fight, you know, as the Nocturne. Look at Hoya, perfectly timed dash through on the side. The smite comes through and Cuz is like, no, what have I done?
It was so close to his swipe, tidying up 3 people, but unfortunately,
Faker just kind of sitting safely on the side. Kana, meanwhile.
Yeah, there's the perfect execution. Okay, we'll see whether Faker can actually get the save here, as that is going to be the hammer back. Hoya waited, gets the backflip, and that was beautifully executed. Cuz as well is going to get the flash out of Hoya, as wanted desperately to save his teammate. Actually could have saved the flash, unfortunately, but Hoya just didn't really trust. Next time, maybe the trust fall will work, as
Better
Shirley has been started. Yep.
Yeah. You know, at least he gets out just fine, and this is
really what I was kind of expecting T1 to move towards as their sort of backup win condition, which is play the side lanes, play the map, and try and manipulate your way into a victory, which is something that Twisted Fate can do. And as you can see, this is how it works. You get the stun down, and then you ask your good old kitty cat to come through and knock down the pin.
That was kind of a bit of a bait, too. Faker just kind of stayed.
Looked into the Shirley patch notes just yet, but that is certainly cool information, as Cuz is going to barely miss that spear onto Delight, as now the Destiny comes in, and this is where you need to use them, as Teleport comes on down, and now the turn is going to be attempted as all of Fred at Brion dive on top of T1. Lava just evaporates, though, and they trade it for Keria, but a 1-for-1 is good news for T1, as now Faker is looking to keep them at arm's length and try and take down these low health targets. Another gold card going to be locked here, but
no minions.
Yeah, I do like the kite back from Fred at Brion, and the piercing arrows are going to make sure that that T1 aren't going to be able to chase too much, as far as you know, trying to take on this poke/split comp. As okay, Solar Flare is going to connect. Immediate cleanse from Henna as he looks to get out, but is not going to be so lucky. Okay, in goes Faker, immediately will get knocked up, but now he's underneath the turret looking to take down the Varus, and does so easily. Goes golden as well, as Keria does the same thing, uses it to also block the Akali damage and stop him from dying, and it's Keria that gets the kill. Can he get the Pog this time? please.
I mean, this is T1 outdoing what Breon's comp is supposed to do. They're the ones actually having these long-range initiations in with Keria, and then they collapse in so perfectly. They toss in all their long range and then engage. I mean, both Jace and the Nidalee here can poke in and then engage in, and it works so well when you have that free engage from Keria, and this should just not be happening for Breon. They walked right into an area where T1 were grouped up, ready to fight, and they got punished super hard.
Yeah,
Lava's gonna go by Shock Blast. You're gonna get shot by Nidalee Spears. Baker's gonna stun you from a million miles away.
Well, here's the paranoia. In goes Breon looking for their opportunity. Okay, Lava has to immediately get out of there as Umpty not going to be so lucky. Normally, the Udyr can run real fast, but unfortunately the damage is just too high, and now T1 will steamroll the bottom side. There's the Destiny utilized from Faker to make sure that he can get towards this inner turret. Try and kill Teddy, but I don't know about that one, as we've got to fight on multiple fronts. There is the Destiny for safety, as Lava can't arm the Fear in time. Oh, it's just a little bit depressing, isn't it? Still, a scope out exactly where Breon are, and T1 realize that they can just group up and look for this top lane inhibitor turret, but they do run out of minions. So now just going to back away. And is still doing a lot of damage. This guy has somehow like 315 CS at this point in the game. He's still very strong.
You can see T1 is almost playing like the half
guard. Okay, in goes Hoya. He's going to disappear into the fog and somewhat make it out, but not going to be enough there as Delight moves the Unbreakable a little bit too far away. T1 were taking a lot of poke, but another Chains of Corruption is going to go wide, and Teddy looks at that as his opportunity to go in. Delight's going to fall. True Shot Barrage mops up the Varus as well, and I think T1 may have just decided that when the minions turn up, it's time to win the game.
Yep, I mean, T1, they don't have Baron, but they were acting like they did with that insanely hard push. There's just no way for Breon to punish them if they stay grouped, and they're just going to end this game right now. Not much you can do with this. Nope. Baker's got the gold card armed, doesn't even need it. Once the turret's dead, the Nexus is next.
In goes Keria one more time. The Nexus turret is going to be taken down. Nexus will surely follow, as T1 now just having a good time on the enemy fountain. It's a pretty comfortable 2-0 here and a good turnaround after T1 were dispatched by Damwon Kia. Really good look for them, and I like the fact that they did vary up the win conditions. The playstyles were different, much more fast and furious here, and Faker really bringing out some vintage TF play.
1,500 kills.
Yeah, 1,500 kills for Teddy. My goodness, that is a lot.
That's a T1 showcasing here, Atlas, what is a very different style, like you said, from game one, but showing in a best of 3 that they can play not only the very slow scaling style, play very passively, and still have control of a map, but when they get a lead with a composition that can just explode onto the map, group up as 5, and push to the Nexus, they could do that too. And it was just so difficult, unfortunately, for the comps that we saw Breon try to utilize to break through. There's so much CC on T1 side. They have Keria, who is setting up the engages. You think about the 2 different compositions, like Nocturne should ult in. You have a really strong, explosive composition for Breon once again, but actually T1 were the ones taking the initiation. They were the ones who were setting up the fights. They were getting the first picks, and that just shouldn't be happening, but they get so far ahead, they can just walk down and end the game.
It was just like much better macro play as well. Their vision control.